Thanks, Tom. Thanks everybody for coming out. We'll give a quick synopsis on the Black Hills game. Obviously, not the way we wanted to go out with the season. We really thought going into that game, we had some matchups that we could get after. Got an early opportunity with a fumble on a punt with a snapper showing a lot of punt pressure, and they snapped it in and got the ball and stalled at the 2-yard line, and that was a little bit of the story of the day. Had plenty of opportunities early to do it, had to settle for a field goal in that situation, and we've got to be able to put the ball in the red zone. And if you look at the final 3 weeks of our season, we went from being a pretty good team in the red zone during our middle stretch when we won a couple games to we've got to find a way to get the ball in the end zone, and that was a critical juncture in that game. Same thing happened late. We ended up kicking a field goal, going down 14-6 at halftime. Certainly in the game, and for some reason we have had struggle coming out of the gate in the third quarter. It's been such an issue that we actually practiced coming out in the third quarter this week. I took all the guys halfway through practice twice, put them in the locker room, talked about the situation we have, and we walked out and finished practice because we've had an issue defensively stopping people in the third quarter and then continuing. So we came out, gave up a drive in the third quarter, put us down 21-6. Had an opportunity late in the game or early part of the fourth quarter on a 4th and 3 situation to punch it in and didn't do it. And then from there, had a situation where a fake punt short and went from there. But definitely not the way we wanted to end it. We've got a young crew. If you're around the program and you're around these young guys, we've got a talented young crew that needs to grow up quick. And that's what we need to work on in the offseason and fill some immediate holes at certain key positions and get ready for our 2013 season. Any questions I can answer for you about the Black Hills game or where we're at from here? I'm like, my thoughts on the play is I was standing at the first down marker because I wanted him to run right to me. And when he ran a yard past me, I was real disappointed. So, in this business, I learned a long time ago not to, officiating it's something I can't control. I certainly, if I react to it, our players will. But yeah, that was a bad spot. The official was clearly out of position. They didn't have somebody on the other side to be in position. The kid ran past me. I was standing at the first down marker and stretched the ball out. So it happens. You got to be able to overcome adversity and find a way to win.
Recruiting. Let's talk about recruiting. Did somebody else have a question? Did I interrupt anybody?
Oh. Yeah, we're going to hit the road this Saturday recruiting as a staff, and we've got some immediate needs we need to fill. We need to be able to become a little bit more of an inside presence on our defense and be able to stop the run on more of a consistent basis on those things. There's a picture right there of John Tyler, very young at secondary. We started four true freshmen most of the year in the secondary position. They're very talented, and as long as we can keep them around and get them stronger and do those things, that we'll be very talented on the back end. We've got to be able to get some bigger size inside with our interior defensive linemen and with our linebackers to consistently stop the run. And that was an issue for a good chunk of the season. So we've really worked to fix that. This was the punt right here that bounced off one of those guys. We showed a lot of pressure, got the ball inside about the 10-yard line. And it's a credit to our punt block team. We've been aggressive with it all year long. They took a little bit longer trying to get their protection right, and ends up bouncing really right off one of their shield players right there. So big play early in the game, huge chance for us to gain some big momentum, and we certainly can't walk out with a field goal there. We got to put that ball in the end zone. And we talk about putting the ball in the end zone. That's another thing we've got to find on the offensive side is playmakers. We've got to find some guys on the outside to stretch the field speed-wise and allow our running backs, who have a talented group coming back, even though we lose Ja Rover, is to find some guys on the edge that can create space and make plays in the situations we need to move the ball and score touchdowns. They are, yeah. We'll open up. We'll be at Colorado Mines, and then week 2, BH will be here. Yeah. I assume so. I have not seen the schedule, but yeah, yeah.
Stacy, if you could pick out just a couple of freshmen that you really thought performed very well, improved from the beginning to the end, and are really going to be kind of a cornerstone for the next couple of years. Could you name a couple, maybe one on each side of the ball?
Yeah, it's tough to not put Josh Thomas and Jordan Bell together. They're both from the same high school. They're attached at the hip. They started all season for us and did a tremendous job. Great young men, both on and off the field, and they're going to have a huge upside. So, we feel really good about that.
And their positions?
Jordan Bell is at safety, and our players voted we had our banquet yesterday, and our players voted on the defensive back of the year, and they voted for Jordan Bell on that. Josh Thomas is a corner and kick returner for us on that side. Yeah. And then on the offensive side, we got a handful of young kids. Our young running backs are talented, so it'll be interesting. DeAndre Bolden's a very talented young man. Xavier Matthews on the outside as a receiver. We expect to be a playmaker. I know there's a handful. We play so many freshmen. It's hard not to mention. And you see so much potential in what they can do. But we've got to mature, from a physical. It's funny, we do a pool workout here on some Sundays, and these guys come out with their shirts off, and you're like, these are 18-year-old men that are going to be 20 to 25 pounds heavier in the future, and the future is really bright. We got a great freshman class. I mean, I can go down the list. Paxton Miller is a young defensive end for us. That's just tremendous. Deshaun Scott's an extremely explosive young man that we moved to corner. You work down the line of the hand. We got two young quarterbacks, Evan Sanders and Ben Broker, who redshirt us. That they walk in the door and look like any quarterback in any program I've worked at. So, those guys are really a talented group, and a couple of them that we redshirted that we're excited about. Yeah. Yeah.
The field goal.
Yeah.
We had a really great one. Smith was his name.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't seen, are we just shy of field goal kicker, or
Well,
are we just not seeing it?
Sure. We were inconsistent with the field goal this year, and it's a great point. We weren't as consistent as we needed to be. We ended up hitting our last six towards the end of the season. Colton Jeldon was a senior for us, and he primarily been a punter here that we moved to the kicking position also. And I think I probably put a little too much on him. When you're doing both the punting and kicking duties, that becomes a lot. We had a few issues with our long snapper at times, and that's something we've got to get corrected and be more consistent. So there was a couple moving parts, but we certainly didn't put that group together as much as we have. And if you look at our overall field goal percentage, it wasn't good enough for what we need. And so that's an area that we're going to address and fix here in the offseason also.
Coach, in your experience of taking freshmen who have played quite a bit, do they generally improve an awful lot between their freshman year and their sophomore year? And is it the size and the strength that they gain there? Or how do you see these freshmen that have played a lot progressing into their next year?
Well, most places I've been, we haven't played a lot of freshmen. I've never played this many freshmen, probably combined to what we played this year. But that was the situation we were in. There's going to be a huge gain in what they do size and strength-wise, and it's that natural maturation. It's being in the weight room. It's the strength and conditioning, but there's a natural maturation between that 18, 19, 20-year-old period where these guys really, truly grow into men. And there's so much to be said about playing experience. These guys have played 8, 9, 10, 11 games now on a college field against some very tough competition when you play the MIAA teams and a couple real solid Division II opponents. So there's no question they will be better. They've been tested. They've been thrown into the fire at a very young age, and I think responded well for the situation we put them in. And I think they're only going to get better, and I think it's going to show up early when we jump in the season next year. All right. Thanks, Tom.